Osteo, everybody.
Osteo.
Great to be here today. Going to start right out. This past Saturday was what they have now called Juneteenth, and this was something I responded to. And if you can focus right here, on that day, Juneteenth, I made this piece. This piece is a libation cup of ancient Greece, featuring the sculpture of an African person. A libation is something to make an offering, the pouring, maybe pouring here on the earth. And I'm celebrating with this African Americans Liberation Day. And all the while I was doing this, I was really thinking and feeling of John Capehart on Judy Woodworth's KPBS also on Friday. He said, it's not about the end of slavery, it's about freedom. And that really touched me. So that's my piece here for that, a real ancient Greek libation piece. Next thing was saying, this morning, Claudia and I, we attended on the Zoom Professor Peter Boland's exposition on Hinduism. And of course, he started right off with where that came from. That's the Indus Valley civilization. This is an ancient civilization in the western part of India, which is now Pakistan. And he showed a picture, or some pictures, of that place, you know, the natural valley of it. And that is significant in my theme as I continue with the ancient Greek cultures. And the Indus Valley, those ancient civilizations from anywhere like 3,000 to 5,000, 6,000 years ago, are reminiscent to the proto-historic world of ancient Greece, the way we're talking about it. The kind of settlements they had, the kind of way they governed themselves, and so forth. So it consciously, in other words, it's compared to what we're calling the proto-historic period of Greece to get an idea of how the Indus Valley may have looked. And also contemporaneous with that was the goddess culture of the Mediterranean. We call it Magna Mater, Great Mother culture. And that's what I'm starting off with here. If you can focus right here, this figure has been unearthed there, and particularly I like it because she does look like spring, and that's where we are. We're in the spring. And this would be, again, contemporaneous with the Great Mother culture of the Mediterranean, anywhere 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. But next, I can move from that right up here to this portrait. This is my portrait of Hera. Hera is, the great mother of the ancient world. And here, even the way that she happens to be looking, she's looking right here to this bullhead. She is in the house of Taurus in the zodiac, and this is what gives her the command of what I would call maternal authority. She's for everything of woman. She totally commands that whole sector, in particular, in that way. Now, Zeus is the proper noun of the masculinization of her culture in the Mediterranean. And yet she still managed, whoever her followers, or whatever you want to say, how she still managed to maintain her rule in spite of this eventually total masculinization of everything in the Mediterranean. And so along with that, she wanted to be able to yield an offspring, to reproduce herself. And so she solicited, the master or mistress of herbs, and that would be, Florothea, to ask her, from your Garden of Eden, can you give me something that will get me pregnant? So what she gave her from her Garden of Eden was wild lettuce. Now, lettuce, the name lettuce has within it, in the Latin, lactose, milk, because the stem of the lettuce secretes something that kind of looks like milk, lightweight milk. And so she did reproduce, and she had a daughter. And if you go over here, this is my portrait of her daughter. And the name the myth gives for her is Hera. Really in Greek, eta, beta, eta. And so what you see there, that would be on some people a laurel leaf wreath, or lettuce leaves. Now the sanctuary for her in ancient Greece is actually in the Peloponnese. That is the southern peninsula of Greece there. And this was her sanctuary, Hades' sanctuary. Was a grove of cypress trees. And also the place where that is Phlius. And if you can go right down here to this. So Phlius is also the navel of that part of the country. And in Greek that's called Omphalos. So this Greek letter here, you can see, is for the Greek phi or phi, phi beta kappa. Philosophy is the guide to life, and that is the symbol for the place, Phlius, and also for the Omphalos, because it has that letter in it. And also I have this here because it's in the shape of the Omphalos, but it's a house for bees. And what this goes along with is where we are now, the summer solstice. Last week I had shown you the stone lion, the ancient large stone lion of the island of Chios. And that is just an alignment south of this place, so that this gives it the summer solstice. And the honeybee, you can go up here, here's another honeybee. The honeybee is a solar insect, and that is also, and we're saying the honeybee is the soul of Leo. Okay. Now if we can come over here to this image. Now, Hebe, she doesn't figure much. She's in there, she's in the myth, but they don't pay too much attention to her. And there probably, you would realize why there wasn't. She is also Matrika. Matrika. That she is the little unknown mother, in that she is hidden, she is veiled, and yet she is in every woman. I could say she's in every woman, waiting to be realized. Her mystery is not realized. And what I have here, this is actually the letter Ma in the Sanskrit alphabet. And so there I put her head within it. You can see how that would look like also a house, like that in Greek beta, or in Hebrew bet. But anyway, that initiates actually Matrika. The Ka part, so you see matrix, and then the Ka is the hidden, unknown or hidden or not understood or anything to that effect. She is, the basis of knowledge, and it is the vibratory movement of Hera's divine mind which brings about her manifestation. All this that I'm hitting on is something her, who is a genuine virgin birth mother in every woman in the world, and how that has been in any sense avoided at the best, covered up, denied, forbidden, anything to that effect, for the woman to awaken. She is the essential truth, and she is the comprehension and remembrance. All of these things that are part of her manifestation. And to go along with that, just kind of shift over here to this figure here. I'm giving this idea of how that she's hidden, she's covered up. And then you want to go up here. This is my main piece here. This is my drawing. This is a woman, and she is covered up, and you see only her eye. Her eye, they actually call it unmesa, means opening of the eye. And so the opening of her eye is what begins her inner spiritual consciousness, is the way that I would render that. So she begins to become self-generated, self-aware. So that's my main thing, and to go along with that, you can go all the way down here to my drawing. I really liked this drawing. To go along with her, and below her you see her head with the veil over her. So this veiling in India, Mayamala, meaning that she's veiled, but this veil can be, transformed, it can be changed or seen through. And so that's all my import here with that. And then come back up here to this figure here. This is a Greek oil lamp. I've set it up on end. It has the image of Athena in it, along with her attributes of her shield and the serpent, but chiefly because of the wick. The wick has not been used, it hasn't been lighted. And that's my whole sense, my whole theme in here is for a woman to be able to realize herself, realize Matrika, this little mother whose mystery has not been realized, as if to say, to light the wick, to open the eye, lift the eye, to bring her into manifestation, and to somehow change, the whole dynamic of the patriarchy that has been in force for so long. Now with that, can you come right over here to this side here? We're right here in this area. With the evolution of a women, inauguration, however it's come about, initiation, there is Pandora's basket, her canesta, her basket. And in the basket are these symbols of her recognition. We inherit by recognition. That is the way of it. And so here to stand for those things, you can look here. Here is a pomegranate, of course, and the pomegranate is, well, symbol of the womb. It has the seeds in it. And the color is womb blood. Now, a word for that is Adama. And it may be, I think, that the Masoretes who did the Bible stories got the Adam and Eve, out of that. Or they split the womb blood, Adama, into Adam and Eve, putting it simple. and that has something to do with this. And the other things here is the serpent is part of that. And here is a model of the yoni. This is, in fact, from India and used the way I'm talking here. And here is a comb. This is an old comb for this kind of initiation. And also, this is all in Pandora's basket. Here is a primal image of the goddess. You know, this one is 30,000 years old, but it's very sufficient. And here's a canasta. This is a basket. I have this one here to say that all these things are in, ostensibly, Pandora's basket, but also illustrating this kind of basket with a handle that we all know from the Easter baskets. The Easter basket, along with the rabbit, are survivors from the very earlier time. And the woman, you know, also had a bracelet that went with the handle of the basket. And then, of course, here is the seashell that figures so much through the goddess or feminine cultures, mainly for the spiral. So all of that is all a part of this. Now, one more thing to get back to Hera. I've been watching on TV the Olympic tryouts. People are, you know, having this, they're kind of competitive to be eligible to attend the Olympics. Well, the original Olympics was started by Hera. And it was later, you know, all this had all been taken over by Mr. Zeus. But the original one is Hera's for women, like athletic feast for women. And it was called the Aegis. And so you can go up here. This is what I have here. Now, Aegis means the goat skin shield. The goat skin shield, and the goat skin is the goat skin of Amalthea. Amalthea was the most ancient and greatest, basically the goat oracle of Dodona. And also Athena carries her Aegis shield. And here, this is the rendering I have of Hera as I have replicated it from a coin, an ancient coin from Olympia, where the later athletic contests were made. And you can see her crown is the flower crown of the pomegranate. And also here is the image of the Gorgon. And it's this kind of image that Ashina has on her shield. And so the event itself was called the Shield, the Aegis. And the contestants were, ushered in, with shield-bearing women and so forth. So that's how all of that all figures in this, sponsoring of her Renaissance, the way I would put it. And now I do have a poem by Mary Oliver. This is the month of June, and so the month of June is in Cancer. I don't know if I remember to say that Hebe is in the house of Cancer. I should definitely say that. It does seem to me, though, especially in earlier times, that she shared this house with Geminis. I think that is very, very likely. It seems very appropriate. So she's in the house of Cancer, and she shares it with the house of Geminis. I think that's right. Also, her sanctuary is on the same parallel as the three major temples of Hera: Olympia, Argos, and Samos, which is way across the Aegean Sea. So she is on that, and her alignment is with the stone lion of Chios for the summer solstice. We can have all of that. So we are here in June. And I just recalled, talking to Eric, it's also the anniversary of when I left Venice High School in Myrna Loy to join the United States Navy. How about that? Okay, June. A single swallow glides in the air above the water. Next to it, something hovers, thin and white. It flies too, or is it floating? It vanishes. It appears again, a little smaller than the bird. Now the bird approaches land. Now it is over the beach itself. The floating object is also over the beach. A feather. The swallow snaps the feather from the air and holds it in its beak while it takes 3 or 4 rapid strokes forward. Then it lets the feather go and dives away. The feather pauses on an updraft, then begins to descend. The bird returns, flows back, glides above and beneath it. The feather trembles erratically. With a plunge, the swallow snaps it from the air and flies on, and then, again, lets it go. All of this is repeated maybe a dozen times. Finally, the swallow ignores the feather, which drifts toward the berms of wild roses between the dunes and the sea. The swallow climbs higher into the air, blue shoulders pumping hard. Then it swings, glides, turns towards the sea, and is gone. Thank you.